I used to have a 390 years ago, um, probably over 10 years ago now, when I bought it new, and I really loved that saw. It was just the right kind of size and weight to tackle most any job. And a friend of mine in Seattle, a guy called Roger Barnett, was always making fun of my 390 because it was a stock model and all Roger's saws were modified, or ported is another term. I'd never used a ported saw before, and Roger was always bragging about his ported 372 and his 3120 and how much better they were than my 390. Roger has been in tree work for decades. He's probably one of the best, most experienced around, certainly around his region. He operates out of Washington State, and that's a pretty hardcore place to do tree work. I think he's probably semi-retired now, Roger, and he's more into his photography than cutting trees down. But he has nothing to prove at all. So I kind of took him half seriously, but it sounded too good to be true, his stories of his 372. Anyway, when I moved to Canada a few years later, I came across Don Walker, who had a saw shop here in Victoria, Langford to be more specific, and he's from the Walker family, who are very well known, have a great reputation for modifying saws here on the island. The main store is up in the Nanaimo, Walker's saw shop, something like that. You can find them online, and they've been doing that kind of thing for decades. Don himself has grown up on, go-karts and small engines, and he's there's not much he doesn't know about that kind of thing. So anyway, I had my 390 ported by Don, and the gains were amazing. At the time I was blown away, so much so that I just took all my saws to him and he modified all of them, because I was kind of spoiled by the 390, because it made such a massive difference, surprisingly so, and you get so used to it. You get spoiled when you have modified saws, because it's like having, they can keep up with a saw 2 sizes bigger with way more horsepower, but they're a lot lighter, obviously. So yeah, and anyway, I sold that saw some time after, and I got it replaced it with a 372, which was stock, and it was just absolutely pitiful. I'd heard so many good things about 372s, and it was just awful to use. It really was gutless. So I got Donnie to fix that one up for me, and it's been a demon ever since. Same as the 3120. I think more of the 3120 than I do of my truck, to be honest with you. And that's a Euro model, not the North American model, so it's actually better. It has a higher rev band, or so I'm led to believe. So anyway, it's, years later, I bought another. Just the other day I got a new 390 and fired it up, tried to use it on a few logs, couldn't stand the sound of it, and it was just like a malnourished dog. Do you know what I mean? It was just terrible. So I I switched it off and just couldn't use it. I used my old saws instead until Don was able to work his magic on it, and so we've had it out today and it's been great. I'll stop this small file thing. So I've drilled holes in mufflers on small climbing saws like the 150, the 540 and the 201, and I've had some gains in power and torque. Definitely they've been a little bit more punchy, but Don tells me you know, obviously there's more to it than that. You know, they do the ignition timing and the coil, and they remove the limiters, and they think they port the cylinder or the outlet port for the exhaust, something like he has told me in a sort of switch off when he starts telling me what he's done. But to summarize, it's not as simple as just drilling holes in things, and you know, that's going to guarantee an improved performance. I suppose I could use the analogy of my truck. It's not the best analogy, but you know, that's a 7.3 V8 diesel, and when I got it, it had a straight through exhaust, so it was loud and obnoxious, and yeah, the neighbours weren't very happy about it. So I had a muffler fitted, and it actually drove better. It was quicker off the mark and better fuel economy. So widening and drilling holes in things isn't a guarantee, because it can be quite specific to the actual make and model of the saw. So today I was out with the 390 for the first time. It's a new saw, and it's you know, so it is going to increase in power a little bit more, I would think, the more tankfuls I run through it. But yeah, what a difference it makes. You know, it really did save me a lot of time, and you don't think it saves a lot of time until you know, if you're making 100 cuts and you're making maybe 30% gains on each cut, it does sort of add up, and it does mean you can do a lot more with a smaller saw like a 372 that I've got. Well, you know, I run a 30-inch bar on that, and it just eats up the wood like nothing. You know, it just sinks in. It's fantastic. But now with the 390 as well, I used that today. That has a 33-inch bar, and I'm very pleased with the results. So I'd advise anybody who has the means to look into this. It really does make a big difference, and I'm not just talking bullshit or anything, and I'm not unrealistic or delusional or kidding myself. You know, it sort of ruined me now in a sense, because I can never go back to stock saws. That's one of the things Roger said. Once you've run modified saws, you just can't go back to stock. So if ever you have the means to do this, or you know somebody who can do it, who actually knows what they're doing, a place like Walker's here in Canada, on Vancouver Island, Nanaimo, and I think they take saws in from all over the world as well. People send them the saws to be modded, and they get them back, and they don't go crazy with it either. You know, you don't want a saw that you don't want something that's going to shine twice as bright but only for half as long. You know, they find a nice sort of balance, and but the gains are undeniable. So anyway, some footage, have a look, and thanks for sitting through these last few talking videos. The last two especially were long and there was no action, but it's getting to that time of the year now. Things are winding down a little bit, and I only had to block one user, I think, who a guy from Europe who made some quite kind of nasty, sarcastic comments aimed at me. And you know, if you don't agree with me, or you don't like me, or whatever, you can easily just switch off, or just, you know, we can have an objective debate. You can disagree without being without getting personal about things, because you'll just get banned. You know, I'm not going to say the name of the person, but you cunt, you are banned. You know, now you might post and think you're not banned because you can still put comments on, but nobody else can see them. You know, and that's what you get. I'm not going to entertain people like that. So by all means, disagree and make your point, but the you know, that kind of personal nasty stuff is sarcasm is what it was, and it wasn't very funny. So yeah, just a heads up, as they say. Please leave a comment anyway if you've had saws modified or you're thinking about it. It's worth it. It really is worth looking into. The difference is unreal. Okay, watch the footage now. Thanks.